Salutations, YouTubeville. How's everyone doing? It's been a while since I've vlogged, so I'm gonna do a vlog today and just cover some random topics like old school. You know how I used to do vlogs, and I kind of got away from that because I did some kind of pre-planned episodes on specific topics. Then I got into my little live streams, and oh my god, I'm having withdrawals from doing a live stream this morning. That was so much fun. I really enjoy the live streams, and I really enjoy the fact that some other individuals are volunteering to step up and do them as well. I think they are awesome. If we can find a circle of people who can do, you know, who can maintain doing 2 or 3 live listing events during the week, how awesome would that be? That would be fantastic. Obviously, for those that this type of method, it works for them and it keeps them productive, I mean, we got to do it. We got to step up and do it. So I'm really excited about that. I got to get back to some individuals who are asking questions about it or trying to figure out how to stream. So hopefully this week I'll have some time to get to it. Now, my week's been a little crazy. I've had an amazing garage sale on Saturday, so I'm still recovering from that. I've gotten sick and I'm recovering from that. But other than that, I'm ready to take on the week. I'm going into the office today. I have a lot of work to do. And there are some topics that have been on my mind because of some questions I've been receiving, and I thought I'd cover them while I'm doing my little daily commute. So, one of the questions I've had is question number 1. How do you price your product? Now, that comes up so often, and there's so many different variations of the question, but basically individuals do not have a method or confidence in the way they price their items, and probably feel like maybe they're missing out on something, or if they're not selling frequently, maybe they're worried that they're not pricing correctly. So I'm going to go over 4 different pricing methods that you can use for yourself and find something that, you know, works best for you. Also, my pricing strategies jump between the 4 I'm going to cover depending on the item that I've purchased. But I'm not going to get into that additional dimension this time because it's going to get confusing. But if you're new and you kind of don't know which way to go, see if you like any of these. There's probably a lot more out there, so do your research, but I just wanted to share with you what I've done and what works for me. So pricing strategy number 1 is one based on comps. So you price your item based on the items that have been sold in that category, maybe that brand, that item in the past. So you study the historical sales, take those numbers. Then you look at the pricing of the current inventory, similar, that's available, and you come up with a price, kind of an average based on that. Now, how aggressive you are with your pricing depends on how badly you want to sell it. If you're willing to sit on it for a while, you're going to price to the higher end, and this will give you some room to discount when those clear the closet sales come out and you want to take advantage of the reduced shipping. If you price it on the higher end, then you can drop the price down, and you know, it alerts the individuals that liked your item, and I'm referring to Poshmark, that your item is now on sale. So that is one pricing strategy based on comps and current inventory and what it's going for. So pricing strategy number 2 is based on taking account to your cost of goods and all of the costs associated with selling, such as the 20% markup fee, your cost of goods, plus if you count in any type of time and effort, then that gives you a break-even number, and then you slap a profit that you want off of that item. So what that would look like is, say you got a pair of jeans for $4.99, you want to get a $10 profit on it. Or let's do a real scenario. You probably want 3 times what you got it for or something. So let's say you want to get a profit of $20 on it. So your pricing would be the $4.99 plus the $20 plus the 20% markup fee, plus any other multiplier that you add on top of that for your time spent doing this, and you come up with the price. So a pair of $4.99 jeans, you're gonna, let's say, sell it for $34. So it's kind of the back end pricing method. Pricing method number 3 is based purely on a percentage. Some people like to price based on the original price and then apply, let's say, a 60 or 70% off discount, and that's what they sell it for. And it's kind of in line with you know, if a big store had a big sale, what they would sell it for. So if Macy's has a 50-60% off sale, they would mark it down a specific amount, and that's what some resellers like to price it at. And then when you're at Poshmark and you go into your closet stats, you can see the average discount that you run in your closet. So for example, I have a average discount of 60%. Some people strive to have an average discount of 70% or whatever the case is, but that's the most simplest form of pricing, is just, if you know the original price, jump down by 70, 80, whatever tickles your pickle. Now, I always recommend to kind of just still seeing what the inventory is selling for, to see which pricing percentage you want to be at, just because, you know, if you want to sell quick, you want to be competitive. So anyway, and then there's pricing strategy number 4, and that is often something that I do, and that's just going off your gut and knowing that this is an item that's going to sit for a long time because it's a higher end item, and you want to allow yourself a lot of room for discounts. So what I mean by that is, you know, you sometimes get the unicorns, the designer items, the items that just don't attract your everyday shopper. They're the nicer brands, they're the ones that cost a lot. Maybe it's something you bought and you just simply don't feel comfortable parting with it at an 80% off discount. I have a dress from Lafayette, from Nordstrom Rack, and I paid $249 for that dress. It was obviously on sale from like $4.95. I don't feel comfortable pricing it lower than $100 based on my cost and based on the value of the item. So I know that item is going to sit for a while before it finds its next owner. So I'm going to price it high and have it sit in my closet and just gradually discount it until I find the right buyer. So that is another little strategy. Now, I use all 4 of them. I use all 4 of them depending on the item, depending on my efficiency for that day, and that's just how it goes. So hopefully this helps a little bit to let you know kind of from the perspective of someone who's been selling for a little bit and how they go about their inventory. So another topic I've encountered, and I'm actually talking about this to gauge how much interest there is in this topic, to do a whole separate episode on and talk about this at further length, and perhaps maybe do a live show discussing it. But it's reselling with a 9-to-5 job. So many of us out there have full-time jobs and are reselling on the side, and we often watch resellers who resell full-time, and it's amazing to see what they do, but it's not realistic for us to kind of replicate or use them as an example. So I just wanted to open that discussion up and talk about individuals that are still effective and efficient while having a full-time job. In reality, I can tell you, I personally can't really break the $1,500 a month kind of a level while having a full-time job in reselling. That's probably the most I can ever do, or maybe it's in my mind that I applied this barrier, this ceiling or something, but I can't break it. But I'm trying to through eBay by using listers. I'm hoping to break that, you know, profit-wise, just pure profit. We'll see how it goes. But you know, there's things you got to do differently when you're a 9-to-5er and you resell on this side. And for example, something that works for me is taking all of the pictures on the weekend and then a listing throughout the week when I have some time. And you know, that's actually pretty good. It will keep you active. If you say, let's say you take you photograph 50 items during the weekend between Saturday and Sunday, and then you take that 50 items and you post 10 items each day during the week. That actually is a very successful strategy for Poshmark, and it's a lot better than posting like 80 things on one day and nothing for the rest. You actually would have better results and be more discoverable and seen as engaged in the Poshmark algorithm if you do the daily thing. So I want you to know it is realistic to be a, you know, strong reseller while having a 9-to-5 job, but you have to have that discipline to be active on it all the time. There's so many other things that 9-to-5ers have to do in order to stay relevant and make things happen. So I know how difficult it is. And so I just wanted to see how many people out there are in that situation, and whether you think it's worth doing some live shows around it, or creating a little discussion thread on, you know, ways to be successful with a 9-to-5. So that was my topic number 2. Topic number 3 is around getting inventory and getting inventory cheap and creative ways to get inventory. And it's a topic I began to discuss during one of the live shows, and I've got some good response and some follow-up questions on it as a result of that. So I wanted to tackle it again. And I know a lot of people don't have startup money and don't have a lot of money to dedicate to the start of reselling and buying inventory. So I wanted to tell you some of the things you can do to just be creative and do it without a lot of money. The one idea I floated with you all was around establishing a relationship with a local consignment store. And it's important for you to establish that relationship first before you ask what I'm going to tell you should ask. Get to know the owner, their needs, their goals, what they want out of the business, what they want for the business. And after you understand them, then you can go in with the ways you can meet that need while having access to their leftover inventory. So what happens with consignment stores, they generally have a system where things come in, and sometimes they go back to the original owner, but sometimes they don't. They get donated. And what if you had access to that stuff that's going to be donated first, and you were able to pick through items that you think you can sell that are of good value, and in return you would give the store owner something that they want, whether it is maybe social media related, maybe they want some attention. You can say, hey, I would create one Instagram post a week for you and share it with my group. I would also create Facebook posts talking about your store, take some pictures of the inside and recommend people go in. I can write a blog about your store and post it. I can do some Yelp reviews. So you have to understand what they want first. Or maybe when they get really slammed and she doesn't have any workers and she needs someone to come in and help out on the weekend, you can offer your services that way. But basically you would have first dibs of the leftover clothing. Now, try it. I know it's not going to work for everyone. There's always some barrier someone's going to put up, whether it's your barrier or their barrier. However, if you try to do this with like 20 stores, I guarantee you're gonna hit it with one. The likelihood you will be able to establish something like that is high. And so the way you would approach it is that you would give them what they want first, and then tell them what you want, and then say, and all of the stuff that I would not accept, I would then take it to Goodwill and bring you back a receipt, so you still have something for your tax write-off. And in return, I would do blah, 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 blah. Try it. Trust me, it will work for someone special, someone who needs someone like you. So, another way to get free inventory is to go to the free section on Craigslist. I know that's really simple, but it's the most underutilized place to go get stuff. I just, every time, like, I bring it up in chats and in conversations on reselling, they're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Everyone forgets about that, so don't be the one that forgets about it. So that's another way to get free inventory. And you know, it's not something you probably come across every week, but if you establish a discipline of checking that free Craigslist section every week, let's say on like a Monday or a Tuesday, because people generally clean up over the weekend and then they create listings at the top of the week. If you establish that discipline, you will find free stuff. Another way to get free stuff is to get really up close and personal with few local estate sale companies. So estate sales generally run like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and at the end of the estate sale, anything that's not been sold and needs to be gone is something that you can make an attempt to get. The estate sale people that run the companies, you want to find a small mom and pop little company that would really use some help. And basically the way it would work is at the very end, anything that has not been sold most likely gets donated. And what you can do is you can go in there and say, hey, can I help you with all this stuff? And if it's okay, I'll grab a few things and the rest I'll help you get donated. So you can be like the clear up crew. Oftentimes there are small thrift stores that do bids on that. So they will go in on a, at the beginning of the estate sale, they will go in, review everything, and then go up to the estate sale organizers and say, anything left over, I would like to put in a bid for $100 for anything left over. So there's things that happen like that, and you can participate in that by saying that you will help out, you will grab anything that's, that's left behind, and you can get in the game that way. Cleanup crew. So those are my 3 little ways that I've thought of, and then there's a 4th one that I saw on Instagram. I was looking for creative ways people find inventory, and one of the one of the guys on there, I forget who he is, but he gets all the credit for this one. He goes into hotels and asks for their lost and found. Is that what it's called? Lost and found? Yeah, to go through their bin, or to take their bin, or to donate it, whatever. And he's been successful in getting stuff. So especially if you go into the really nice hotels, people who stay there generally have nicer items, and he's found some great stuff. So yeah, I mean, you got to feel comfortable with being the person that asks for free things. Your humility and your ego need to be really in check, but the stuff is out there. So if there's a will, there's a way. And I believe that if you're really in it and you want to make it a go, you'd be creative, and you'll find those ways are fun, even fun to do, because when you get a win, you get a win, and it's all free. All it takes is your effort and humility. Hello, I'm now returning home from work, and it's raining. It is so bizarre, so bizarre. It's like 68 degrees today and raining, and I know on Monday they are saying it's going to be 100 degrees. Crazy stuff. Anyway, another topic that comes up fairly frequently is the search for stock photos. How do you find stock photos? Can you do a tutorial on how to find stock photos? And I'm gonna give you an answer you're probably not going to like. There is no magic formula for finding stock photos. It's based on just experience, and over time, practice makes perfect. You get better at it, and you can find them more quickly. I do have this rule in my head that if it takes me more than like 2 minutes to find a picture, then I'm not gonna go look for it. I'm just gonna go without it. But that rule is broken if it's an item over $100. So if something is worth more than $100 from a profit standpoint, that I'm gonna earn a lot more on that one, then I will dedicate extra, 4 or 5 minutes to it. And obviously, as the value of the item rises, then my time dedicated to researching it will rise as well. But when it comes to finding stock photos, there's, I think, in my mind at least, and it might be different in others' opinions, but in my mind there are 2 ways. One, the good old standard Google way, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. And the second being using the style number. And real quickly, I'll go over the style number, and then I'll go back to the Google. The style number is often visible on the fabric tag or an extra tag attached somewhere within the clothing seam on the inside. Now, if you do not know what the style number is, let's say there are multiple numbers, you don't know which one, go to the website that originally sells the clothing item and go through one of the listings and see what numbers are listed as the style number. Websites will display that information. So to give you an example, White House Black Market, they have a set of 3 numbers that are visible on the little tag. The middle one is the style number. How did I find that? I went out to the White House Black Market website, looked up just a random shirt, and looked where within that listing there is a style number. Then I took that and compared it to what I saw on the inside tag. So you just back into it that way. So my recommendation to find a style number, look throughout everywhere on clothing. Some of the clothing lines that are known for having their style number are like J. Crew, Madewell, obviously White House Black Market. I'm driving, so I can't remember off the top of my head, but there are a few others. Other than that, you just gotta look using Google. So now, going back to the main way I search for stock photos, Google. Google is your friend. You first start you go into Google Images and you just start typing random things describing the clothing item. So I had a Free People lace dress and wanted to find a stock photo. What do I type in? Free People lace dress. And so then I get a return of a bunch of styles. Now, if it's really broad and there's a lot of options, you add additional keywords to narrow down the search. In this case, my dress was ivory and it had ruffles, not only lace, but ruffles. So you type in Free People lace ivory ruffle dress, and it gets you a little further narrowed down to what you need to find. And you just do that a few times until you find what you're looking for. The best way is to always call out the special features on the item after the dress brand. So whether it has some type of a unique design, you're going to say that. If it has a pattern, you use the pattern. If it has, well, normally I find it using the unique features and designs that way. Now, if all that fails and you still for some reason need the stock photo, you can use the resource I've talked to you guys in the past about. It's a Facebook group and it's called Designer Database. And this is a place where people go and try to identify stock photos for their items. Plus there's a lot of really skilled individuals on there that can find stock photos like that, because through experience they've honed in on their keywords and they can do it fairly quickly. I would recommend not to abuse that privilege. Do not make that group your researchers. However, use them when you are really desperate and you have that special item you need a stock photo on. Now, with that said, I've seen too many people trying to find stock photos on stuff that you really don't need to. So this is where we tap into efficiency. You need to be efficient. If you have some tank top from Free People that you're not going to sell for more than $20, do not waste the time of posting pictures to the designer database on Facebook trying to find stock photos. It's not necessary. So always ROI the item and, you know, the value of having that stock photo for your listing. I've done a survey in the past on Facebook. I posted to 4 different reselling groups and I asked them the question of, does a stock photo make a difference when seeing it, make a difference when you're looking at listings and you're making your buying decision? And even though we often say, oh, stock photos, you know, probably you're fine without it, it doesn't matter. Having a stock photo makes a material difference in the purchase decision of on Poshmark. So it makes a significant decision, to the point where if there are 2 individuals selling the same thing, the person who even prices it more and has a stock photo has a better chance of getting that item sold than the person who just has like a flat lay of the item. So I understand the drive to get the stock photo, but I, from a reseller efficiency perspective, always consider the ROI. Cool? So that's my little spiel on stock photos, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Well, I forgot to tell you guys, I mean, if you're on Instagram, you know, but if you're not, I wanted to let you know I'm celebrating because I became a suggested user on Poshmark. That is so exciting. I don't know yet what it's all gonna do for me except get me more followers, but I know it's pretty in demand to be a suggested user. I know it takes a long time to be one, and you have to follow rules and do all that. And I've been waiting for a really long time, and I finally got the email Friday, which I didn't see until Saturday afternoon because I was too busy, that I became a suggested user. And just today, as I was driving from work, I looked on my phone because I haven't checked my Poshmark at all throughout the day, and I see like 538 notices on my little news icon. I'm like, oh my god, I must be on the wheel, the big suggested user wheel. And so yes, I was. I went in and I had extra like 150 followers. That's insane, you guys. That is so cool. I think it was more than that, actually. Hold on. No, it was 1,000 more followers. I'm sorry, because I was at, yeah, it was 1,000 because I was like at 16,800 and something followers as of yesterday. And right now when I checked, I was at 18,000. So it was over 1,000 followers. So that's what you get when you're on the suggested user wheel, which is exciting. And when I say the suggested user wheel, if you go into your app and you click on the last icon and you go to find people, the top section has the find people option, but right below it, there is a suggested user category, and it lists like 20 suggested users. Now, obviously, those are not all. So there's a rotation by which you appear on this wheel, and when it's your turn, you get a lot of activity on your Posh stats. But when you're not on there, you're not on there. You don't get that notoriety. So that is what the wheel is. It's a rotation basis that allows you to market that you are a suggested user and get new users. It's pretty exciting. I don't know what other benefits I get. I'm really excited that I'm a suggested user. I mean, I've been waiting for a long time. I gotta now figure out like how to stay on this wheel and continue to be on it. And what else do I get? All right, that's it for now.